once again. Like the rest of the world, a place where lots of things happen. And I remember saying I will have to give you a list of what we used to do. And that is simply because of the claim that the first 28 years was 28 years of disaster. That became a mantra. 28 years of disaster. And in the previous two programs, I did speak about things we used to do. So, propaganda is what I was dealing with, which is what Guyana is suffering from, and really all over the world, because miseducation is propaganda. It is fake news, false knowledge, you know. Well, it's not knowledge, it's deception, because real knowledge has to be true. If you tell someone something that is not true, then it's not real knowledge you give them. It is propaganda, fake news. So, and this is because I had a little reasoning with Mr. Shearer of the PPP when I called her on the program, because she was making statements about the 28 years of disaster. Oh, of that Burnham being a dictator. And that is what caused me to call. Because I know all governments are dictators. The US putting name on someone that they're a dictator does not mean that the others are not dictators. Everyone who is in charge of something automatically becomes the dictator of what goes on with that. If you don't do that, then you are a slack gatekeeper or responsible person. You're not a responsible person, you're an irresponsible person. You have to take full responsibility. As His Imperial Majesty said, to power, there are two sides of the coin when you're dealing with power. And the other side is responsibility. You can't just have power, one without the other. So you have to be responsible for whatever you're left with. So you become a dictator. And I mentioned to persons also, I said all governments are dictators because, for example, they tell you you have to pay taxes. And when they raise the tax, you have to pay it. They dictate to you. Similarly, in the system of capitalism, the private sector are owner of, and it's not just capital they're owning the means of production, or they're owning commodities. Those who own commodities calls the shot. And so they dictate what price you will pay. This is why the people are suffering, because they have no say in what goes on. The majority has no say. This is how you know capitalism is a fraud of democracy. You claim it's a majority decision, and when the government gets in, they become a dictatorship, dictating what a minority foreigners, a matter of fact, a non-entity foreigners, because they have no vote in this country, and non-entity foreigners, they're doing what a non-entity foreigner tell them to do. And they're dictating it to you. The non-entity foreigners say, you cannot have price control, and so the government move it. That's what Mr. Bourne in the previous time had price control. When I came in, he moved it because he was told to move it by the non-entity foreign persons who do not have a vote in this country, but dictate to the government, which, why would you take a loan where you're being dictated to cut your nose and spoil your face? I will lend you this money, but what you gotta cut your nose. Then your nose left with a big long scar. And however your face used to look, it's spoiled now. Why would you take a loan like that? So now the minority private sector would be dictating the standard of the people's living. Like I said before. So if a boat come and sink and only got 20 baby formula left, and it was 500 feet, then the owner of the commodities could charge 5,000. That is capitalism. They dictate, and they tell you it's the market dictating. No, it's not the market dictating. You could still tell for 500. You could sell for 600 and 700 if you want to be reasonable. That's why I see all capitalists are pigs and swine. All. You can be a reasonable businessman, but when you're a capitalist, you're a pig. You're a swine. Every opportunity you get, you will eat up everything. You're not a human being no more. You're a pig, a swine. You just gobble up whatever's around. You got 100 acres, you want 10,000 acres. When you get 10,000, you want 100,000. And then you sell it back to people. That is why I'm saying the governments violate the Constitution so far. How the 1980 Constitution came in? Because in our first part of our sojourn from independence, we started doing certain things. Burnham didn't just jump up a day and decide in 1979 to put these things in their 1980. These were the things that we introduced for the betterment of the people. And anyone with common sense would see these things were good for the majority of people. But like I said, this is who Burnham decided to give the benefit of the doubt, if there was any doubt of reason of which is a better system. The majority rule, because they claim it's a majority system. So, when I changed it back, it wasn't a referendum. It was dictates by non-entity foreigners that this must be so. So when they call him Burnham a dictator, all governments are dictators, because anytime you're in charge of anything, you dictate, but you can either dictate in a fair manner or an unfair manner. Burnham decided to dictate in a fair manner to the people by bringing in free education, free hospitalization, land to the tiller, right? And self-help co-op housing, where the people won't have to be at the mercy of the commercial house building industry. And the government at that time was, well, I'll read it just now, was in charge of timber companies. So the people got the wood at a decent price. And so the majority of people were able to get progress. Now, so when you call Burnham a dictator, first of all, when you say 28 years of disaster, Burnham did not rule for 28 years. Burnham ruled for 21 years. Or at least he was prime minister for 21 years, right? Well, prime minister and then president from 1980, right? Prime minister. So the first 2 years don't really count because the Union Jack was still up. 64 and 65 it was still up. It is 66. Our independence began. Burnham's independence began. Guyana's independence began. So from then to 1985 is really 19 years. The first two don't count. So Burnham ruled 19 years of independence. And Hoyt had 7 years of independence. I deal with the 19 years of Burnham independence. Now, so if you want to call it, Hoyt got tried with the 7 years, if that's disaster or not. But in 19 years, I will now read out, these are the things that happen for the people, but I could read out the disaster you're talking about. Now, government used to lead the way. And these things here are Guyana's greatest tragedy, next to national service being disbanded. Right? Here what we used to do. The government had clay brick companies, Bellu Clay Brick and the factory, and there was others, producing Guyana clay brick from Guyana clay. Wizrock is sheer clay brick houses. And there are other places like Melanie and etc. Guyana Canning Limited, Guycan, which we were canning our fruit produce, pineapple juice, orange juice, pineapple chunks, and we would have done many, many, many more. We could do mango, dongs, this, that, anything. The Sonata Textile Mill, we were producing our own textile. We didn't have enough yet for the country, but if we were, he talked of getting another mill and another mill, textile mill, so we could supply the whole country. And if we had enough, we start exporting. But is it 28 years of disaster dealing with, you know, and really it's 19 years I cover in here, right? The Brianna Clothing Manufacturing Company, they used to make clothes now out of that cotton from the textile mill, right? Sunbelt Products, who did bacon in packets, local ham, and sausages, pork sausages, chicken sausages, beef sausages. That's probably the only thing I would cut out. And let us be like Ethiopia, a country that does not deal with pork. And the Ethiopian that I brought on, the young Ethiopian, Abi, he confirmed that Ethiopia doesn't have pigs. They don't produce pigs. They don't deal with that. So there is no pork. That's against all three religions: Christian, Muslim, and Jew. Bilimbi, five-finger gooseberry, and other fruits like that are candied fruits in place of raisins and currants and all these imported things. And also sun-dried preserved fruits, mangoes, papaya, etc. That's since then the sun-dried thing I saw is recently and yesterday and today and so on a couple of weeks papers where Amerindian group are producing sun-dried fruits. And they form some kind of co-op there in the village, and that's what they're producing. We started drying saltfish curing pigtail, salt beef, smoke herring. We start making our own thing. These are things we imported. The Guyana Fisheries Limited was exporting fish, shrimp, prawns. Prawns was big in Guyana as an export, frozen prawns. Stock Feeds Limited, making livestock feeds. In Guyana here, our own livestock feeds. Soap and Detergent Limited, National Paint Company, we were producing our own paint. Saijan Plaza Complex Restaurant, KSI, right? Now the Chain Institute. Demerara Woods Limited, right? Government was controlling that sawmill. Guyana Glass Works Limited, where we were producing our own glass. It had some problems, and you know, management is a big thing. Responsibility. Guyana Timbers Limited, another timber company. Then there's National Milling Company Limited. I think that still exists. Guyana Transport Services Limited, GTSL, that no one exists anymore. Guyana Nishimo Limited, motor engines, that dealt with importation. Quality Foods Limited, I think they dealt with the breakfast cereals, I think, you know, that they were making. Guyana GTC, Guyana Telecommunication Corporation. Guyana National Shipping Company, GNSC. Guyana National Engineering Company, which we started making our own ships, right? We had the world's first bauxite, aluminum, not bauxite, aluminum ship. I showed you before. Associated Industries Limited, in Lim, we were making tapirs, which used to run the tongue at one time. And up to even when I came back in 98, they were running Borbies. There are still a few still up in Borbies still to this time. And after Bornholm, we stopped producing tapirs. And we were making the tapir car. I saw the prototype driving on the road. Yeah, I saw it. But we never did go into production of the tapir car. And we would have tapir bus, tapir truck. The Guyana National Service, they produce cotton, peas, and beans that could have been exported, put in packets and exported, like what we import now. Pigeon peas, we import so many other beans. The Guyana National Service could have taken care of that aspect, right? And they produce cotton for export. I have it. I'll show you a day where they show you cotton on the wharf for export to Trinidad. The WRSM did foods and food products and craft, right? And I think they produced a grater meat, grater. And they did ceramic. All right, that was done at Van Ceram. Ceramic, our own, you know, you got Chinaware, our own ceramic teapots and, you know, tableware, plates, etc. Guyana Refrigerators Limited, we start manufacturing our own refrigerators. Remember, the white man didn't leave no companies down here other than raw material companies, you know. No manufacturing companies were left down here. They just carried out raw material. Then, after Guyana Refrigerators Limited, Guyana Radio and Electronics Company Limited, this is Greco, Guyana Radio and Electronics. We start producing stereos and radios, right? We started manufacturing that. Guyana Liquor Corporation, that was under the government. Guyana Mining Enterprise, Guyana Marketing Corporation, which had to facilitate any farmer who want to sell off his produce and don't bother with going to the regular market and got to stay whole day to sell off. The Guyana Marketing had to buy your produce. Guyana Electricity Corporation, People's Bookshop, Metrification Unit, Guyana Airways Limited. You see, it was a Guyana Airways on the tarmac at the People's Temple shootout with Ryan. Is a Guyana Airways that took them in. So Guyana had its own airways, just like Ethiopian Airways. Guyana Lithographic Corporation Limited, Guyana Rice Board, Gaisuco, right. And that is 40 different companies or businesses the government was involved in. So, and many manufacturers that we weren't doing, and every time you hear about the great import bill that we have, which sucks out all the foreign currency that we get from gold and bauxite and sugar and rice, it sucks out back in buying products that we can produce here. So the slogan was buy local, produce local, eat local, produce local, buy local, eat local. And this is what they call all these companies here. Now, let me see what's the disaster really. Now, Mr. Hart was convinced to hand over to the private sector, was dictated to hand over to the private sector and privatize. So, what ended up happening? Do we have any cannon? No. Are we producing our own clay bricks? I think there's some company now start producing those bricks for walkways and that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's imported or made here. I gotta find out directly. Those bricks that they are selling that you can pave your walkway and etc. But I don't know if we're producing our own clay bricks. I don't know of that. I know I see the clay bricks are imported, I think, from China or Trinidad or somewhere. Anyway, the private sector did not take up canning. We have no canning going on. They did not take up producing cloth. We import all our cloth, cotton, right? They did not take up producing ham and bacon and all these things, and sausages and all these things for the market. Most likely we importing all of that. They didn't take up the five finger and the gooseberry and all these local fruits to make candied fruits. They did not take up the sun-dried preserved fruits, right? A few individuals took up the salt fish. I don't know if they still do the pigtail, the salt beef and the smoked herring. Probably they do. Do we still make our own stock feeds? I'm not certain. We have a soap and detergent company down here, right? So I think maybe we still do that. That was privatized and they still produce that. Is it our own paint that we're selling now, or are we importing? I think we are importing all from outside. Now, we're not producing any glass works. That closed down. What else? We're not producing any breakfast cereals. We're not producing any more tapirs. We're not producing any more ships, right? Metal ships. We're only producing wood launches and, you know, speedboats and that type. Launches and that kind of stuff, right? And smaller craft. We're not planting any more cotton. I don't know how much peas and beans we're producing for export. We're not producing refrigerators anymore, manufacturing refrigerators. We're not manufacturing radios and electronic equipment like the stereo. What else? We don't have a Guyana Airways. Well, not say you have the Guyana Airways. The local charters is always, we changed so many so far. Right. And we're not producing ceramic. There was a little production of ceramic after that somebody did take that up. But most of the things and the top things like the tapir, like the Greco, like the refrigerator, these bigger items, we're importing them all. So we have a high foreign exchange bill that we have. Sucking out all our foreign exchange. That's how dollar is where it is. See? We can't balance. So the 19 years out of the 28 years of disaster that they're talking about, this is the disaster. Disasters, all the things that were privatized, they were not continued, which used to give jobs to people. See? Where the people are today, the people are out on the streets selling the products for the private sector. They're buying and selling. They're not producing, they're buying and selling. Products from the importers, they're helping them sell the products and they make a little thing on the side. And it's a buy and sell republic now. So I don't know what disaster Miss the PP is talking about. Now, when Mr. Chair told me about dictatorship, I asked her as human beings, you know. But people forget they got something named human being. Now, I was telling her, she got very irate and cut me off. I said, man, don't y'all think y'all have something to do with how Burnham turned out? I said, Burnham and Jagan was together, you know. And in reality, Burnham and Jagan never totally fell out ever. As a matter of fact, for much of the time when they're talking about disaster, in certain cases, Jagan used to give Burnham critical support, he called it. Really nationalization and these kind of things concerning certain policies. Yes, right? But they were friends right until they had a serious attempt to reunite in 1984 and 85, where they had secret talks going on, documented. That's how this book came out from Halim Majid, a former PPP, who joined the PNC and who was at the talks. Right? So there was no 28 years of disaster at the time that Burnham finished his term when he died in 85. There was no 28 years of disaster. Burnham had only ruled 19 years of independence then. And there was no talk like that. So I said, man, don't y'all think y'all may have something to do with how Burnham turned out? She said, that is so preposterous. I've never heard nothing like that. We make Burnham turn a dictator. We make somebody who turn a dictator. Now, if from the time Burnham come to power in 64, they had a racial riot in 62. So Burnham, win or lose, was hated before he even served 1 day in power, from 62. So when he come to power 64, joining with Pitligia, he was a hated man by the members of the PPP. So Burnham hadn't done nothing yet. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chair wanted to blame him for the whole 62 thing. It was a one-sided affair. This is what was the impression, the kind of propaganda to give people, which is totally not the case. Now, if you're not giving me a chance, you say you're into democracy, I had an election, you got the majority seats, but a coalition of two-party seats, just like what happened now, got more seats than you. You're still saying you got cheated, which is not the case. Now, you didn't accept the rulership. They was born in a cane. That's why I'm trying to tell her, that's why she cut me off. She didn't get to let me say, born in a cane, because you want me to fail. That's not democracy. I'm doing things for you to fail beyond the law. It's not democracy. So the democracy was never accepted to wait on even the 68 election. You done failing me that I must not succeed. So, human beings react. The world is a physical world. It's run by physics. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You pelt a ball at a wall. How hard you pelt it? If it's a rubber ball, you can tell how fast it's coming back and how hard. Now, how Castro turn how he turn? How Safari can turn how he turn? Why say we say? How Martin Luther King turn how he turn? We saying our sick white brothers. Call them sick white brothers. They're my brothers, but they're sick. In referring to an incident. You turn people never plan to do certain things, but that's what life is. Life is physics. That's why they always tell you do unto others they will like them to do unto you. Or don't do unto others what you would not like them to do unto you. It's simple. The world based on good over evil. So when you do evil, that is what will return unto you. Because it's a human world you're living in. And it's a physical world, and everything runs by physics. Action and reaction. So, who turned Castro how he turned? Who turned the young Kim Il-sung, Annie father, Annie grandfather how they turned? Who turned the Chinese how they turned? Who turned black people how they turned, like Mugabe, like Kofi, like Nat Turner, who just kill out this whole family and start a revolution? Who turned them so? So, you see, people want to be covered by the word politics. So politics is just a stupid word. It don't mean physics. Physics run the world. You could call it politics, religion, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter to physics. Physics is a principle of the reality. And it's a judgment. So, you got to think. But this is what happened. Parliament came together and Mr. Hyde squashed it. It was almost complete. So, I'm saying about the dictatorship of capitalism. And the cover for capitalism is jail. For the disaster that is capitalism, it is covered by jail and police. And the so-called injustice department, the so-called justice department, because it's an injustice department. Because if you got money, if you get a good lawyer, you will come out the better in anything that you have done. So, now, people are made to, oh, they're criminal. The system is a crime. Because Guyana is now America. Guyana was never a capitalist state. Guyana was owned by the people at independence. Not by Borno or Jagon. It was owned by the people. Borno put that in the Constitution in 1980. And he put in all the things that you were already doing while he was trying to lift the people out of where the white man left them. And those things like free education, free fertilization, land to the tiller, and free fertilization were put in the Constitution. And no discrimination between mental and physical labor. Because the white man gave physical labor petty cash, pocket money. And mental labor, he gave bigger money, which used to be mostly Europeans. That's how the system set. The system is a slave system, capitalism is a slave system, and it continued from slavery and the white man colonization to what it is today, and it's the same thing. As long as capitalism is the same thing. That's the effort Borno made to change it and give the people a fair judgment. Seeing that they inherit this country, they fought for it. So all the governments, including this one, if they continue to run capitalism on the people, they are frauds as nationalistic people. National means for the people. They don't got, that's why the Constitution call for discussions. That don't exist because they don't have a leg to stand on. Now with me, they got one of them in this country got a leg to stand on. So, and that's why as regards to the whole situation with the choosing of the GCOM chairman, I personally don't care who go on and the capital to them, you know, because all to violate the Constitution. If you violating, I got to read things from the Constitution where you are violating, you know, but they ain't concerned about that because it's about the people. They only concerned about things with them. The things with the people, like no discrimination between mental and physical labor, they ain't changing the salary scale. If you can't get for education in university no more, because they ain't put their money to that. The free hospitalization, it turned back to a private sector thing. We know they got private hospitals and things with the public hospitals supposed to be doing and the government supposed to invest in it because they're collecting the taxes and the revenues from around the country. How it started, PPP shipped it over, and that's how it left. So the people in limbo, suffering. So the people of Guyana suffering in their own country when they were told, own and control your resources. And it's expected that the people you vote for going to ensure that it remains that way, where you are the owners and controllers of the resources, which means you are the owners and controllers of the revenue garnered from the resources. The gold, the bauxite, can no party and bring it in this country, you know. The people's life do not depend on president and parliament and politician and MP and all them things, you know. The people's life depend on the blessings of the Almighty, which was already given. And the people in power are supposed to see that the people get the stuff as per Constitution. But the change in Constitution, people change the preamble to set a nonsense. They ain't got nothing, nothing saying about that, you know, but people talking about judge and GCOM chair. Only certain thing what they're fighting for is though to that one, you know. Really things to the people is dumb insolence. So that's that. So there's no respect. Well, the white man comes with the money to buy slaves. He continues to buy slaves. Because when you're doing what he's saying for our money, you consider it a loan. I know he never changed and he buys slaves. Because only slaves is have to do what the master say. So as long as you have to do, you are bought by the money. So we depend on the private sector who has failed the people in this country. Because they ain't profits. They ain't into producing jobs, they ain't into patriotism. And that's unfortunate. The people had banks, and even come to the banks that were created, the whole core banking system that were created for the people. Now they're at the mercy of the private sector banks. And the thing is, all the governments coming and saying they're going to provide jobs. When you reach in, that change. Bonham never said he can provide jobs. So it shows you it's propaganda news. Bonham said, farm co-ops, self-help, produce or perish. He never fooled the people about jobs. I'm back remember when he come to power in 66, he said, I cannot, the most I can promise you is hard work. That's what he said. But he set the foundation that you will have jobs. All these companies was jobs to people. And the song was, I got a cousin, he died now though, but he was in a band in America. I went to introduce that slogan thing, he started making a song. I could only get the refrain, so I had to make my own thing, because I never had the copy of the song, right? And it go like this. Produce or perish, we ball and produce. Produce or perish, we ball and produce. Tell them again. Produce or perish, we ball and produce. Yeah, 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 yeah. Produce or perish, we ball and produce. Hey, in this land of many waters, still the people are sad and unhappy. They're suffering from illusion. They're heading for pain and destruction. Just because of no organization, they are in total confusion. Time to stop this degradation, or there will be total destruction. Produce or perish. Produce or perish, perish, perish. Produce or perish. Yeah, 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 yeah. Produce or perish. Produce or perish. Whoa, 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 whoa. Produce or perish. Produce or perish. Yeah, 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 yeah. Produce or perish. I said they're running up and down. I said they're running all around. Running here and running there and running everywhere. I'm trying to add in some more verses, but that's what I make up. The only I could remember was that part of how he formed the song with produce or perish. We ball and produce. Yeah. So private sector is not the engine of growth. Production is the engine of growth. Private sector comes and controls the means of production. And it's not so much means of production no more. It is importation, sucking out our currency and bringing cheap goods, cheap food, chemicalized food, all kind of things just to make money. And the people end up heart disease, stroke, this, all sort of nonsense they're importing from there. If you even get the children can't call this and that, all kind of nonsense. You know? So we have to have a proper policy again. Letting the European control you because you borrow from money is cutting your nose and spoiling your face. That's how Mr. Hyde's face gets spoiled, and he could have never go back in. Where after he had years, where you going? 23 years of the PP, they want to run back in again. PNC done had so many years, so if they fail in this second try, what they get after 23 years, so long they get keep out because of the fail, Mr. Hyde failed. So if they come again and fail and failing again, they can't get no more time. That's what it will be. But the PPP, they want to get back in, they can't come with a different crew. They can't come with the same crew. Else that is past the rest of the people of this country. So, my time is running down, and I don't know if I have anything else I wanted to deal with, but right now, upset that they had the Caribbean hemp meeting there. Some people were feeling nothing going to come out yet. But they're too slow. They're just destroying people's lives. Now, I heard today they were talking about beating children and you shouldn't, and they continue to talk that. It's not okay to beat children because they will not change, they will not, come out to be, they will learn to hit people. Yeah, but it's okay to jail adults. Me? Now, you jail me and throw me in a dirty cell for nothing at all. But children, you don't touch them, you speak to them. Speak to me about marijuana. That's what you got to do, speak to me. But you don't speak to me because I intelligent. So, y'all are mentally ill. That's like how you got sick white people, y'all are sick black people. And when you look at my face, you say, I don't be joking. Because for real, y'all are sick. And anyone who follows white people blindly are sick. The people in California and all the places don't follow the federal government who have a agenda of controlling people and controlling the world and keeping people retarded. Now they're bringing in drugs in the country and giving people for all kind of nonsense. Something is wrong with our dealings with Europeans. This was wrong. Something is wrong with our dealings with Europeans. My time has come to an end, and you have to show up. That's why I made the song. They're living in a white man's world. Great things when they can't take the pressure. Black people living in a white man's world. Mark the beast. Make the children them must suffer. Hey. Anyway, I'll see you in the next 2 weeks. I don't want to abuse my time on Safe TV Channel 2. Thanks to Brother Dominique. Thanks to Brother Kevin. See you in the next 2 weeks. And you can see me on YouTube. Don't forget, Majesty Music Lesson. Just putting that on YouTube, and you'll get a replay of many of the programs. Thank you. Thanks to Safe TV.